Nicolas Remy. I'm the chair of the jury in the DPG Masters 2024 competition and the founder of the Underwater Club. In this video, I'll walk you through the key changes in this year's competition compared to previous years. We've made updates to the rules, introduced a new judging process, and even added a new category. So, whether you're a long-term participant or you're entering for the first time, stay tuned to learn everything you need to know to succeed in this competition. In case you're new to DPG Masters, let me give you a quick rundown of what the competition is all about and reasons why you should really consider entering. DPG Masters is one of the most respected underwater photography competitions worldwide. It began in 2006 as the imaging competition attached to the Our World Underwater Dive and Travel Show. It's been running for 13 years and it was nicknamed the Super Bowl of underwater imagery events before being renamed Masters in 2020. It has over $80,000 in prizes, which I believe is the largest prize pool amongst any underwater photography contests this year. The rewards include liveaboard trips, resort stays, and some really cool equipment prizes. And new this year, you can also win one-on-one portfolio review sessions with the jury members, which is a great opportunity to get some invaluable tips and advice to advance your photographic career. This will be with myself and the awesome 5 photography pro judges joining me on the jury panel this year. We have Stephen Kovacs, Shane Gross, Tanya Huppermans, Imran Ahmad, and Andy Salmon. So, all in one, there are lots of good prizes to be won this year. In 2023, the competition received more than 2,000 entries, making DPG Masters one of the largest underwater photography contests in terms of participation as well. So, winning an award in DPG Masters is a significant recognition of your photographic skills, especially since we are limiting what's allowed in post-processing, and I will explain that shortly. Finally, there is a new feature for this year's contest which I'm really passionate about, and that's the feedback you will receive on how far each of your entries progressed through the selection process. This will tell you how close you were to winning and give you an indication of which of your images have the strongest competition potential. Now let's talk about the changes to the rules. First, I cannot stress enough how important it is that you read the detailed rules on the competition website, which is underwatercompetition.com. The link is available in the description of this video. Do not stick to the summary of the main points that sit at the top of the rules page. Your image can be disqualified if you ignore some of the nitty-gritty explained in the detailed rules below. For example, the detailed rules is where we describe precisely what is allowed and not allowed in terms of post-processing. Anyway, I am now going to explain the 3 key updates to the rules for 2024. Number 1, starting this year, we will check the raw files for compliance with editing rules for all finalist images. In the past, this was done only for our traditional category, meaning competitors could really do whatever they wanted in other categories and fly under the radar, but that won't happen this year. Second, we've introduced a backscatter removal limit in non-traditional categories. In the past, the rules used to say minor removal of backscatter is permitted, but not to the extent that it alters the authenticity of the photo. Well, we've decided it would be more fair to just draw a line in the sand, and we've picked 30 as a limit, which should be more than enough to remove the main distractions from a properly lit photo. If you think your photo still doesn't look good after removing 30 spots, well, I recommend you don't enter it in DPG Masters. There are other competitions which are more permissive, but we are placing more importance on in-water photographic skills than on post-processing skills. Don't get this wrong. You still need to properly edit your underwater photos if you want to win this contest, but just make sure you comply with the limits spelled out in the rules. The third change in the rule is about baiting and feeding. As before, live baiting remains strictly forbidden, but we want it to be crystal clear with our position on other types of feeding or baiting. If there was any form of baiting or feeding involved in getting the shot, you need to tell us in the captions when you submit your photos. Even if the baiting took place before you jumped in the water, if there was some food thrown in the water to attract marine life, or some habituation of marine life to receive food where you took the shot, this needs to be disclosed. If you don't disclose it, but the judges are familiar with the location, the species, and they're fairly certain that baiting was involved, then they may look down on your entry. To be clear, we are not ruling out baited photos. There are marine species which you simply cannot photograph without baiting, and we may still award such images if they're really good. However, we will favor photographs which depict the natural behavior. Now, although we haven't changed the rules on the topic, I also want to mention the use of AI. Just like last year, you cannot add or remove foreign elements from the photo except for backscatter. And that rules out the use of generative AI in all of our categories. However, you're welcome to use AI-based features to speed up your editing, such as automated subject selection, as long as you comply with our post-processing rules. Again, please do read them. To conclude on rules, really, our intent is to reward in-water photographic skills and authenticity at a time where post-processing tools are more advanced than ever, and more and more people are finding it difficult to trust visual media. Let me now explain the judging process, which is very similar to previous years, with the addition of a raw file check. In the first round, the Dye Photo Guide staff will create a short list of images based on aesthetic and technical merit. If your photo is out of focus or poorly exposed, it won't make it to the next stage. If there are very similar photos of the same subject, one being clearly better than the others, that will be another reason for not shortlisting the not as good images. Also, any image that is visibly breaching the rules will be discarded during this round. Say you've entered a blackwater photo in the over-under category, or you've left your signature on the image, sorry, you're out. If your photo shows a diver grabbing a turtle, you're out too, because it breaks our rules on ethics. Round number 2 is when we bring our judges in. Each jury member will receive all the shortlisted entries which made it to round 2, and he or she will be asked to select and rank their top 20 entries in each category. The higher the rank, the more points the image gets. Points from all jury members are then collated, and the 10 to 20 images with highest scores in each category make it to the next round. These are the semi-finalist entries. In round number 3, the semi-finalists, 10 to 20 per category, are re-ranked by the jury. Again, points from each jury member will be collated, images will be ranked again as a result, producing up to 10 finalists per category. This takes us to round 4, where all finalists submit their raw files for verification. Non-compliant images are disqualified, and the remaining images are then reviewed by the jury, who will select 4 to 6 awarded entries per category, along with the overall winner. There's an important date to remember. Raw files must be submitted between January 16th and January 19th. If you plan on being without internet at that time, I recommend you set up an automated email reply with a contact who can provide us all the files on your behalf. Again, this year I'm really pleased to share that every entrant will receive information about how far their entries progressed through the rounds, which is a great insight, especially if you're planning on entering other competitions afterwards. You'll get an idea of which photos appear to have more competition appeal. And even if you're not entering competitions that often, this is valuable feedback to get on your work. Another change this year is the introduction of a new compact category for photos taken with compact cameras, smartphones, or action cameras. It will be really interesting to see which sort of cameras grab the awards in this category. Compact cameras have always had the advantage of being able to trigger a strobe, whereas smartphones and action cameras still can't, at least while I'm recording this video. However, the image quality of these types of cameras keep getting better, and I have seen some fantastic photographs lit with just torches, and there are plenty of wide-angle scenes which look great without any artificial lights. So, to all smartphones and action cam users, please surprise us, we're waiting for your entries. One last thing about this category, if your camera does not support RAW files, we will accept the original unmodified JPEG file for compliance checks. Finally, let me share a few tips for selecting which photos to enter. First, have a look at previous DPG Masters winners in the competition website to get a feel for the standard of images typically awarded in this contest. Now, the jury members change every year, so you've got different pairs of eyes and individual preferences involved in ranking images, but it's good practice to sense what sort of images have won before. Obviously, choose images that fit well into their category, but also consider how much they will stand out within those themes. I mean, how likely is it that there will be dozens of images of the same species in that category? If you're submitting a photo of a very common subject, it needs something special, a very cool technique, a sense of character, perhaps some interesting behavior. We don't have portraits or behavior categories in DPG Masters, so any photo that has interesting behavior or feels like a portrait gets extra chances to stand out in the categories that we have. Most importantly, read and comply with the rules. If you'd like more guidance and help on preparing for competitions, consider joining the Underwater Club, which is an online underwater photography school and community which I have created, and we now have members in over 18 countries. As a club member, you can access past webinars, and I recommend you check one called Selecting Photos for Competitions, which is a recorded 2-hour long talk where I gave loads of tips and strategies on picking the right shots to win. That's it for this briefing. On behalf of myself and the jury, it is an honor to be reviewing your work, and we can't wait to see the incredible images that you will submit to DPG Masters 2024.